This is True Free Man 317, September the 9th of 2014. I'm behind on news stories, but here we go. IMPD officer spotted giving boots to a homeless man. This was yesterday. First of all, before I start this video, I would like to thank the officer for doing a good deed um, because he didn't have to do what he did. And I just want people to know that we do have good officers out here. And not only do we have to expose the corrupt officers, we also need to take time out to give good officers credit for the good things that they do. It would only be right. So, with that said, let me go ahead and break down this short story. And I'll post a link to this story in the description box below. And you're more than welcome to go and view it for yourself. IMPD officer spotted giving boots to a homeless man. Again, this was yesterday here in Indianapolis. Indianapolis. A tweet from an Indiana Pacer player, Roy Hilbert, put an Indianapolis officer in the spotlight Monday. Now, Indiana Pacer Roy Hilbert actually took a picture of him because he was in the vicinity and saw this officer getting out, giving this homeless guy a pair of brand new boots. Hilbert posted a picture of an Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department officer who got out of his car to give a homeless man a pair of boots near the 30th Street exit ramp off of Interstate 65. Once the image hit Facebook and Twitter, it was liked and shared by thousands of people. The homeless man, whose name was Frank, told the news he had been homeless since 2011. He said when he first saw the officer, he thought the officer was coming to give him a ticket. Instead, the officer gave him a pair of shiny black boots. I never met an unkind person on the street. They know I don't mean any harm. When I first started coming, they locked their doors and parked further back. But now they drive up right next to me. I'm not asking everybody. If they give me something, okay. If they don't, okay, Frank said. Frank said the boots were a size 10 and he actually wears a size 15. So he gave the boots to another homeless man who had holes in his shoes. Frank thanked the officer for being so kind. I'm thanking the officer for being so kind. I'm also touched by the story because the officer, I believe this, and I'm just going to assume this, just actually, you know, looking at the situation. I'm under the impression that this officer patrols this area. This officer sees this homeless man quite often. This officer probably tried to guess what size shoes he wears. I guess he didn't want to ask him and then go get him, and then he knew he just wanted to do it. So this is just my opinion. Hopefully, I'm pretty much right. I don't know, um, but I believe that's what he did, and went and bought the shoes, and lo and behold, he underestimated the size by 5 inches. But I mean, it's still a good story. Um, and that officer doing a good deed. Along with that, since the homeless man could not fit the shoes, he didn't go try to sell them to somebody or anything like that. He gave them to a fellow homeless man who actually could fit the shoes. If that's not if that's not a good story, I don't know what is. If that's not a kind thing on both of the individuals' part, the officer as well as the homeless man, I don't know what is. Only if more people could be this kind. Only if more officers would do deeds like this. Again, when we expose the corruption with the some of these police officers, we also should take time out to give credit to the officers that perform good deeds like this, because at least a show of appreciation is needed. And it may rub off on other officers and cause them to do good things as well. But I just want people to know we have a lot of bad public officials and police officers. But don't forget, we do have some good ones as well, and they need to be recognized. So that's what I try to do. I don't just expose the corrupt ones. I also acknowledge and give credit to the good ones. With that said, this is True Free Man 317 signing out. I have more stories to bring because I'm behind.